level 2 problem that you might come across. It's going to be not a area model where you do length times width or anything like that, but it's going to be like a word problem like this. John is hitting baseballs. The height in feet of the ball is found using this model. So there's your equation, where T is the seconds after the ball is hit. Okay, so that's important. T is seconds. Then H is your height. H of T is height. What is the maximum height? So what they're asking for is the Y value that the ball reaches. So you're going to go over to Desmos, negative 16x squared. And I did the upside down V, the caret button, to do the squared, plus 25t plus 5. Okay. So, all right. So, oops. I did one x and one t. We probably need them both to be the same. Okay, so where again, I'm not used to Desmos, so you have to put y equals. My bad. Okay, so see, even teachers don't know everything. Okay, put an equation in. You have to have y equals. And then it looks like this. What is the maximum height? So if you look at your graph, y is your height. And if you see, there is a maximum on there. So what they want is your y value at the maximum. So your y is going to be 14.766 feet. So that is the maximum height. When does the ball hit the ground? So here's the tricky part. I am always going to give you an x value or a y value, and you need to come up with the other one. So when it asks you when, that means that I'm giving you you're trying to find an x value. When does the ball hit the ground? That means I am giving you a y value. I'm giving you a height. Well, what height would the ball be when it hits the ground? The ball would be 0 feet. So if you go to 0, so it would be negative seconds. Does negative seconds make sense? No. So it would be x equals negative 0.179, and then x equals 1.742. And negative doesn't make sense, but 1.7 seconds does. How high is the ball? So they're asking for height. So that means they want a y value after 1 second. So that means the x is 1. So that means x equals 1. So that means there is my x equals 1 line. I have to go all the way up. And I find the intersection. And it's 14. 14 feet. So when will the ball be 10 feet above the ground? So 10 feet, that is your y value. When is what they're asking for is seconds. So then y equals 10. So that means there's 2 spots. where the ball is 10 feet above the ground, and both are acceptable. So 2.235 seconds and 1.327 seconds. So if both answers make sense, you put both answers down. So you need to figure out, am I asking for an X? Am I asking for a Y? Am I giving you an X? Am I giving you a Y? So you have to kind of put all those things together with what is being asked. So sometimes they're easier than others. So here, for the period 1971 to 2001, the number of films produced in the world can be modeled by this function. So here is my equation where X is the number of years since 1971. So that's important. Y is the number of films produced in the world. So let's put that in first. 10x squared minus 94x plus 3,900. Okay. So how many films were produced in 1985? So if I give you a date, this is an X value. Because X is the number of years since 1971. Well, X isn't 1985. X is the years since 1971. So you need to do 1985 minus 1971, or you can just figure out how many years that is, and it's 14. So your X equals 14. So now so there I see both equations. It might take a little bit of figuring out of where there. So how many films were produced? So your Y is 4,544 films. In what year was the minimum number of films produced? So that means you need to go down to your graph and find the minimum. And then it said in what year. So that means that I want to know the X value. I do not need to know the Y value. So my X value is 4.7, but that's not what it asked. It asked in what year. So you need to take 1971 and add 4.7 to it. So that means 1975.7. So that means it's in, let's just redo that, in 1975. What is the smallest number of films produced in this range of years? Well, the smallest number would be your minimum. So you already found it. So 3, 6, some 9.1 films. And then it said in what year was 42 films produced. So that means this is your Y value. So Y equals 4,200. So I need to go up to 4,200. And let's zoom in just a little bit so I can see a little bit better. We have a negative number and we have a positive number. Well, the negative number doesn't make sense for years. So we are going to be doing x equals 11.917. Remember that this is not the year. You have to add this to 1971. So 1971 plus 11.9 is almost 1983, but not quite. So it's in 1982. All right. And you could say at the end of 1982 if you wanted to be that specific, but I'm not requiring that. So there you go. That is your level 2 in a different format than area questions.